Nice to meet you. I am the tech evangelist at AWS. So, for those of you in the educational field, I will be talking about how we are utilizing AI for the education. So, AWS is like a lab, Amazon Web Service. So it is like developers, whenever they want, they can use this computing service to create a perfect data. So when we first created this AWS for the first time, we thought that the physical computing resources like CPU, memory, and hard disk should be split into services. So this cloud computing itself, like electricity or tap water, we should be able to use it whenever we want, in the amount we want. In educational sector, we are utilizing cloud computing a lot. There are some education startups using it, and for online education to approach many students, well, we don't want to purchase the physical resources for each of those trainings. So we use cloud computing for those purposes. And also at universities for the computer labs, we are using the cloud computing. So there are more than 1,000 educational institutions across the world, including those in Korea. I have covered up, I said that we started with a few number of services. So now it's not just about CPU or memory, but also AI, media, mobile. All these devices have more than 175 services provided through cloud. So when there are new services or new ideas, actually we can find them all on the cloud. AI has had a lot of changes with the online. So this is Bonabornus, our CTO, who said that new changes are made with the cloud. Recently, we had the development of the deep learning. Actually, deep learning is an old technology, but with the computing power and data size made possible with the cloud, we had the leap of the deep learning. Many people actually, when they try to create this kind of deep learning with their own resources, actually, it takes up a lot of computing power. So you can see that this is the CPU power made by NVIDIA, but actually it has about 100 of the CPU's power. But on the cloud, we can use it for $5 per hour. So if we are to use the computing power of 2,000 CPUs, actually it will be just $100 per hour. But that is, of course, not minimal. So what we are trying to do is to provide those resources at a low price. So even if the listed price is $5, if we are using the remaining resources, then the purchasing price can be discounted by 70%. So for the same computing power, you can use it for $30 per hour. So these are some freedoms or advantages made possible with the cloud, and there are many innovations made in the educational sector with the cloud. So I want to first talk about how some startups are doing with cloud in this educational sector. In Korea, we usually think of like private sector education, like after school private tutoring. They're using these programs. In case of Acre, well, in the US, you have to write a lot of essays. So you send your essay to ECLE, and they will be correcting your writing with this new machine learning model. So it's like a learning tool that students can utilize. And in case of Duolingo, I think you know about this already. It's like a customized learning service for diverse languages. So if you're trying to learn a foreign language, if just with a few clicks, you can tell the solution what your traits or characteristics are. And based on those information, this service provides a customized service for the foreign language learning. Next one is the MathPresso. Actually, what they did was to connect students to the private tutors to solve math problems. But with this new deep learning service, it allows the solution to solve the math problems that students are finding hard to solve on their own. So I have covered all the solutions in the sector of foreign language and also writing and math. So you can see that it is really helping reduce the loads on the teachers with the current COVID pandemic. Well, it's hard to get the education at school. We had the lockdowns and lockups at schools, and with a lot of efforts from teachers, we have found some solution, but the situation is still persisting. In particular, there are some courses where online education is not possible, like when there are some tools or instruments needed, like CAD/CAM, for specific IT training, we need additional supports. So in case of teaching students with high performing cloud service like CAD/CAM or AI that is supported through that. So in case of a school district in New York, they utilize this and supported that to their students so that actual practices of those technologies can be done at home. Usually, students don't have the laptops with such a strong computing power, but they get the support in that regard. And as students are staying at home, they can get the access from the educational institutes. So it's not the central institutes, but a local educational agencies that have the direct connection to students. When students have difficulties in resolving learning related issues when they are getting the online training, they can call this call center. So in average, maybe more than 1,000 calls are given to those call centers. There should be consultants working for those call centers, but we have put this on the cloud. It's possible to create a call center through just a few clicks on this solution, and there will be like an AI chatbot to respond to students' questions. So just within a few weeks, that school district created the call center and responded to their students. And for the online learning, it's very critical to make students keep interested in the learning. So there are many training that we provide to teachers, but also what is needed is something that is like animated, moving factors or points inside the learning. So there is like a machine learning inside. So that students can find it more intriguing. And in AWS, we offer various services, and one of that is Robomaker. So when students go into the console, they can find the model that they want. For example, this is like a floor cleaning robot simulated. So students can try this and find ways to make it easier and more effective. So they will be modifying the algorithm to make this robot more effective. And actually, some companies are using this today. I wanted to tell you how easy it is to illustrate this. We have this cloud console. If you go on to the console, you can test many things. For example, this is called pervasion. So in the photo, there are many objects. So you can have things recognized. What are the objects on the photo? So if you upload your photo, everything will be processed instantly. If you do the coding well, then it will be connected to APL so that you can make modifications to the photo instantly. So everything is done in the cloud. Also for text, if you do the text input, it can convert it to speech. In the past, we could just instantly get the text converted to speech, but you need to make some modifications for this to customize to your own needs. So how can we make AI learning more interesting? There can be these tools provided by cloud companies. to have the visual recognition, we can have deep lens, and for the sound recognition, we have the deep composer, and for the reinforcement learning, we can have this kind of deep racer, which is like an autonomous car that students can try to learn about this. To see how it's applied in Korea, when students go into the console, it's like a reinforcement learning. So we can get students receive rewards if they do the proper modification of the algorithms. So students can try this kind of racing, not just on offline, but also online. So students can try this racing and create the model that they want. At AWS, we have the Deep Racer League. It's an offline league we do every year. So students come with their model that they have created and put it on this track and see if it's going properly autonomously. In Hong Kong, there is like a vocational school, and their team had won in this race. So it shows that even amateur students can win against professionals. At AWS, we have a lot of cloud-based educational programs. In particular, we have AWS Educate program. It's targeting university students around the world to learn about cloud and AI. It's like an educational course. So it can be costly, but actually students can learn free of charge. And recent trend is that it's not just limited to universities, but actually teachers of elementary school, middle school, and high schools are applying for this. So we are supporting that to teachers of those primary and secondary schools. About 100 schools in Korea are getting this program, and in particular, like science specializing schools and other some specific schools are receiving this program in Korea. Sometimes we go to the site to provide the program. Sometimes we do the educational startup support programs as well. Lastly, I want to cite the words of the founder of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Children have a lot of dreams when they are young, but it's hard to accomplish them during the course of the school. But many companies are interested in education. Microsoft, us, same. So from the view of the industry, I think that we can do many things. Newton, well, when he was talking about the development of the science, he said that his discoveries based on the inventions and discoveries of what the other preceding scientists have found. So if we understand that and try to cooperate together, I think that we can create good educational environment in Korea. Thank you.